Having been a carer for nearly 40 years for three siblings with severe and enduring mental health challenges, it is my mission to transform mental health services so that it treats all human beings as humans and supports them effectively when they are at their most vulnerable. And currently, racism gets in the way of you having good experience of mental health service provision. And in fact, in many situations, you may well die at the hands of services. My name is Dr. Jackie Dyer, and I am NHS England's Mental Health Equalities Advisor, and I lead the steering group that has co-created the Patient and Carer Race Equality Framework, which is essentially an anti-racism framework for mental health in England.
I think the starting point was the board actually recognising the vital importance of this, and in establishing the strategy for the organisation, actually recognising the importance of committing to being an anti-racist organisation and committing to PCREF, the anti-racism framework.
Power dynamics permeate pretty much the whole of mental health. It's just particularly concentrated for certain racialised communities. So the changes that we're wanting will benefit everybody, even though they are particularly focused on racialised communities.
Obviously, I've encountered various guises of racism, some visible, some discreet, and in terms of professionals and practitioners, I've found that there's been a disparity.
Seeing people and members of my community and family suffering while using services, mental health services, not getting the support that they need, and inadvertently becoming even worse off.
I feel being a member of the community and also being a carer as well, so I really wanted to be involved in trying to be part of the change and part of the solution.
My personal connection is twofold. I am one of the Windrush generation because I came to the UK in 1958. I am also a carer for members of my family who have mental health problems.
As a black person myself and a champion of the community, I have personal experiences of those who have gone through inequalities, left them with mental scars.
When I arrived in SLAM, I could see inequality and wanted to bring my perspective as a white woman with privilege towards allyship.
One of my previous roles some years ago was I was a mental health advocate. One of my first clients given to me by that organisation was a young lady who was well known within the mental health system, and she had committed suicide. That's just highlighted the importance of the injustices within mental health and how it was then became incumbent upon me to try and create some change.
Working with community members, service users and carers and staff group to try and align everyone to a common goal, to better outcomes, experience and access for service users.
I believe my role is predominantly a facilitation role. Others may see it as driving change and leading the forefront for implementation.
What's unique about the approach that South London and Maudsley has taken to implement PCREF is really the work that we do as a partnership. So with service users, carers, our community leaders and staff working together jointly.
Being part of the triple lead, we have a senior lead from the trust and myself who represents carers and service users, and then we also have a member from the community, and we all work together and the power structure is equal.
People are able to come forward and raise issues with us, whether that's the carer, somebody, a service user or one of the local groups are able to raise issues and feel confident that we will address them.
The engagement work that we've been doing as a triple lead, we have a cohesive team and we get along well together. You know, people have a voice, and it doesn't matter whether you work for the trust, whether you're a member of the community or you're a service user or expert by experience.
Allowing the voice of a service user and carer to be at the front of PCREF, because the first two letters, patient and carers, So it's very important that we always include those voices.
We have got to be completely open. We share this information. We're accountable back to the people that we work for, patients and carers and local population.
But it will mean fundamental shifts in the way the place is managed, the way the place is organised, the way the staff can contribute, and critically the way they can embrace partnership working and what it really means with communities and with service users and carers.
So the triple leadership teams are working in various different ways to address inequalities across all of their boroughs.
One of the biggest challenges has been to navigate SLAM's policies and processes. They're not as equitable as they may have thought they were in the beginning when it comes to working with the community.
Equality is not the same as equity. Equality is what is already set, what is already there. All the equalities are there in the policies, but actually carrying them out in an equitable way is a far different thing.
I think before pre-CREF was around, engagement was maybe few and far. We've met hundreds, literally hundreds of times on Zoom and face-to-face now as well, since COVID has now reopened us up. SLAM wanted to have all of the meetings during the day. And I had to say, guys, like, if you want the community to come, we're not going to be able to come during the day. So they've now started to have events in the evening. And of course, that now means, guess what, the community can now come to those meetings and give a voice.
People are taking risks. They're willing to listen, to learn.
So they're working on change ideas based on root cause analysis to reducing Mental Health Act admissions, or trying to really promote outcomes by working on Dialogue Plus and having mass training across the trust.
It moves us to much more towards working with people who are directly affected by these policies, rather than listening to them, taking their information and not really properly respecting some members of the community to share that information and engage in that process.
My triple leadership team's biggest achievements are starting the conversation and recognizing the need for it.
How can I have an opinion but be open and inviting to other opinions? How can I say, you're right, I'm wrong, let's do it differently now?
The mental health services are like a big ship. It is very difficult to turn it around. And PCREF is all about change and turning things around.
But we've got the right type of people coming together to create change.
And it is around building that culture of trust. It's a key ambition for us, and hopefully that's something that would be helpful to other organisations as well, to know your local population.
To actively listen to the community, find understanding without judgment and bias.
It's about that awareness, because we know knowledge is power. What we are trying to achieve, we will achieve. And the two words I'm going to end with about accountability and transparency. They're the two words I think we need to look to make sure that PCREF is a lasting thing.
We need to know the level to which different communities are subject to inequalities. That includes things like seclusion and restraint. It's absolutely central that we engineer a solution to those problems that we're highlighting in conjunction with people who are using services, people who are carers, and the communities, but that we actively seek those people to be involved in finding solutions for this wide-ranging problem.
The trust is extremely powerful, and it takes a lot of courage to speak up about change in the face of this power.
People at their time of need, they need somebody to listen to understand them. Not always possible when you're in that dark space. Make their journey as easy as possible.
This has been a difficult journey. We've had to discuss and confront uncomfortable truths. And the fact that we've made these strides is for the benefit of all our service users, our staff, the whole organisation, and it's a response to what we know is needed.
This is about building race equity into changing the system of mental health provision. We need services that are determined by the people with the lived experience, helping to shape and even deliver them. To have good mental health is to be able to flourish in all aspects of your life. It's harnessing the power of the people to help to make the necessary transformation. It's not doing to, it's doing with.
You'll never achieve anything unless an organisation recognises the problem and expresses a commitment to confronting it.
To anyone that is watching this video, mental health can happen to anyone. And having the conversations, acknowledge the past, and hopefully the future will be different. And I'm going to end with the word hope. Have only positive expectations.